Hey guys, Jordan here, and welcome to the third episode of the Smackdown Live review. Before I carry on with the review, I just want to say, if my mic does sound messed up, I'm sorry. I don't really I can do about it. It has been acting up recently. May get a new one, I don't know. But just let me know in the comments if it's a bit messed up. So, Smackdown kicked off this week with Bray Wyatt and Eric Rowan addressing their attack last week against Dolph Ziggler and the WWE Champion Dean Ambrose. I know it's called the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, but screw it, I'm just going to call it the WWE title. They said that the war is not over between them and the WWE Championship. Ambrose and Ziggler came out and they just fought them. I know those moments where I'm sorry I didn't watch SmackDown this week. I had a long, hard day, so I couldn't really watch it. I apologize. It won't happen next week. Next week I'll be sure to watch it since it's the final SmackDown before Summerslam. But Dolph Ziggler did super kick Ambrose and left him for dead as Bray Wyatt hit him with his sister Abigail. Good opening segment to the show, I believe. Ziggler, I think he accidentally super kicked Ambrose, but he still super kicked the WWE Champion. He's not going to be happy with that, I can tell you. He is a lunatic. I do think they should implement Bray Wyatt into the SummerSlam match, just to try to eclipse Rollins Balor over on Raw. Try to make it a bit more interesting, a bit more, impactful. And I do think Ambrose should go over for storyline purposes. I don't think he should be done with the championship just yet. Although I would like to see the title around Bray Wyatt, to be completely honest. Up next was the second tag team match, of SmackDown Live, with America Alpha going up against some local competitors. Jordan and Gable got the victory in the end. I heard it was like one of those squash matches that you see on Raw with Nia Jax and Braun Strowman. Nia Jax should really be used better. But yeah, good showing by America Alpha. Afterwards, the Ascension, the Vaudevillains, and the Hype Bros, that's Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley, entered, and I don't know. They're basically saying that they're there as well, I guess. Daniel Bryan did say last week on Talking Smack, which is the SmackDown post show on the WWE Network, that he is considering bringing tag titles to SmackDown. I think that would be good. I think the two main tag teams should be American Alpha and the Vaudevillains. You know, the old heels versus faces, obnoxious heels versus do-good heroes. I do think that'd be a good dilemma, and have the Hype Bros versus the Ascension, and have them every once in a while challenge for the titles. Tag scene is looking good on SmackDown, and so we have the Usos to come back, since I think it's Jey Uso that's out with an injury at the moment. So not having the other Uso, I can't really tell the Usos apart, to be honest. But up next is the first women's match of the night. Rematch from last week. Well, I say rematch since it was scheduled but didn't take place. So it's taking place this week. Becky Lynch versus Eva Marie. And Eva Marie, once again, pussied her way out of the match. Hit my mic there, apologies. By having a wardrobe malfunction. So, yeah. You all know I hate Eva Marie. I don't really like her character. I don't like the way she can't wrestle. She can't really carry a match, and she definitely should not be the face of the women's division on SmackDown. But I do like the way WWE are portraying her as like this person who tries to get out of the ring because she knows she's terrible in it. But afterwards, things got interesting. Becky was, of course, furious that she couldn't get her hands on Eva Marie. So out came Alexa Bliss. Her first match on the main roster, and the first time we saw her since the first SmackDown Live. So, hey, She did get the win at the end, hitting Becky Lynch with the Twisted Bliss after Eva Marie came out. Apparently she didn't have a wardrobe malfunction. Shenanigans. And cost Becky Lynch the match. It looks like the main feud is going to be between Becky and Eva Marie on Smackdown, and Carmella and Natalya. I did sort of hint at that last week, and I do think it's starting to become more of a fruition this week, especially with Eva costing Becky her first match on Smackdown. Alexa Bliss getting her first win in her first match on the main roster. I'm happy to see that. I do think she'd be one of the top heels in the women's division. But up next was a clash of two former WWE World Heavyweight Champions. Well, WWE Champion and World Heavyweight Champion, that's what I mean. The Viper, Randy Orton, against the Mexican aristocrat, Alberto Del Rio. I can see what the SmackDown is trying to do. They're trying to build Randy Orton up for his match against Brock Lesnar by having him face, increasing levels of difficulty in terms of people. Last week it was Fandango, and he had to deal with someone being at ringside. That was Tyler Breeze. And this week it was against the former world champion who's been there since 2010. He knows what he's doing, etc. So I do like the way they're sort of doing that with Randy. I don't like the way they keep on giving him DQ wins, though. Orton did win this match by DQ after Del Rio hit him with a steel chair twice in the arm. Randy Orton did give him an RKO to pop the crowds. But I do think Orton should get a clean win next week. And I get someone good. I think maybe someone like Rhino or Bray Wyatt. Or maybe he against Cena and Styles costs him the match. That's the thing. Cena and Styles were missing from this week's Raw because they were doing house shows over in Hawaii, I think. It was either Thailand, Hawaii, or somewhere around like the Australia side of the world. So we were missing them, and we did miss a week of their build-up. I do think their promo last week was a good indicator that they can leave it alone for a week. I do think Orton and Cena should have a match next week, and Styles maybe costs Cena the win, or against someone else and Randy wins clean. Maybe against someone like The Miz or Baron Corbin, someone like that, just to build Randy up as like an actual monster, and he has to dominate the person he's facing next week. So all in all, good showing from Randy Orton. Sky first match with Lesnar at SummerSlam. Up next is Rhino versus Heath Slater. Heath Slater won. He got a contract on SmackDown. Unfortunately, he did lose. Even though his feet were on the ropes, he did lose, and Heath Slater can't get a contract on SmackDown. So it looks like it's going over to Raw. I like the way they're portraying Heath Slater as like this free agent sort of thing. I do like it. I do like it a lot. Heath Slater, he's a good comedy act. I remember coming up to Raw 1000, he was jobbing out to legends, but he's doing it in like the funniest way possible. And the only win he got was against Doink the Clown, but then I think DDP came out and gave him the Diamond Cutter. So I do like the way they're handling Heath Slater. But again, he's not on SmackDown. Although he was furious, but Shayna Daniel did offer him a contract, but he's like, nope, screw you guys, I'm out of here. And he stormed off. Up next was Carmella against Natalya. So, if you remember last week, Natalya attacked Carmella with the sharpshooter before their match, after Natalya provoked Carmella in a backstage segment with Renee Young. Of course, Carmella's first match on the main roster, Natalya's first on SmackDown since the brand extension. Well, sorry, the brand split. And Carmella gets the win with the Code of Silence. So this week, the Princess beats the Queen. Good match, I guess, overall. It did seem pretty back and forwards, from what I hear. I said here Natalya is trying to pull off those heel tactics. You know, the trademark heel tactics. Again, happy Carmella gets a win on the main roster. And I am happy that they're making the NXT stars look good instead of making them look like chumps. I'm looking at you, Raw, with Nia Jax. She does look like a monster, but stop giving her job squashes. So, again, second, rather not the best idea. Up next was a backstage chat between Baron Corbin and Kalisto. They look like they're going to have a rivalry. Corbin attacked Kalisto after Kalisto cost him his championship match last week. His number one contendership against The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. Excuse me, I'm sort of suffering with a cold at the moment. You're probably hearing my voice as well. So they do look like they're going to have a feud. Again, I don't know. Corbin, he just got out of a feud with Ziggler. He's having to face another sort of high-flying opponent in Kalisto. I'm really worried about Corbin's future. That he's just going to have to be, you know, jobbing out or going against high flyers because he's a big guy. I do think he should be in the Continental Championship picture without a shadow of a doubt. So, I don't know. Up next is the main event of the evening. Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler versus the Wyatts. Dean Ambrose and Ziggler did get the win in the main event. I don't know. Ziggler pinned Rowan in the end. I presume after a super kick and after Dean took out Wyatt. But afterwards, Ambrose struck Ziggler with a dirty deeds after the match. I guess payback for that super kick earlier. So it's advantage Ambrose. All in all, SmackDown had a good show. I honestly think it was better than Raw this week. There was barely any segments with Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. That only sort of happened after the show. Sorry, not after the show, during Heath Slater. Daniel Bryan did say on Talking Smack, though, that Brock Lesnar is lazy. Jesus, that's a bad idea. That is a very, very, very bad idea to go Brock Lesnar lazy, because he will eat you. And to be honest, I don't think we want to see Brock German suplex Daniel Bryan, especially with his neck issues. All in all, good SmackDown. Look, happy that it's focusing on both titles. It's sort of focused more on the world title this week. More so since it's the bigger title. Raw could get a few pointers. And they did have 2 bits for the world title and 1 bit for the Intercontinental title, even though it was like 2 people in the contendership picture, but still to involve the Intercontinental title. We had some good women's matches. We had a good tag team bout. So good wrestling all around and a good show, to be fair. What I'm going to do now, before we end the episode, is I'm going to hype up SmackDown's SummerSlam matches. I'm going to do the same next week. So, up next is Brock Lesnar, the Beast Incarnate, the Conqueror, versus the Viper, the Legend Killer, Randy Orton. The 2 men are the 2 youngest world champions in history, Orton being the youngest. Both world champions, Royal Rumble winners, main evented WrestleMania. Did Lesnar main event? Yeah, Lesnar. Both of them main evented WrestleMania. So it's going to be a real clash of the Titans, because we all know out of where an RKO can come, and we all know where Lesnar lives, Suplex City. So it is going to be an interesting bout. The F5 versus the RKO. I do think counting an F5 into an RKO just writes itself. I don't know, to be fair. Orton needs to win more, but I think Lesnar's going to get the win because of what happened at UFC 200. Orton, I think he needs the win. And little tip for Orton. RKO Lesnar on the stairs. Guaranteed win. The past 5 matches Lesnar have lost. Most of them have been through their finishers on steps. Cena, AA on the steps, 1, 2, 3. Triple H pedigree on the steps, 1, 2, 3. So, yeah. One-on-one matches, I mean. So, yeah. His losses most of his losses have come from that. Or some dirty shenanigans. I'm looking at you, Undertaker. But yeah, I do think that it's going to be a good match. I don't think it should main event. I do think Lesnar will go over, unfortunately. Up next is the WWE Champion Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler for the WWE Championship. At the meantime, I want Bray Wyatt at it next week. Just a curveball, but at the moment it is Ambrose Ziggler. I do think Ambrose is going to walk away with the title, no matter the situation. I think he'll go on to feud with the winner of the next match I'm about to say. Next match is John Cena versus AJ Styles. I do think Styles should win the blow-off match with Cena, but I do think Cena might win, especially what he said last week. But he did. Dynamite said he was borderline offended by Cena, so he postponed it maybe to lose. I would like to see Styles Ambrose for the title. That would be delicious. But I don't know. Final match confirmed for SmackDown, the Intercontinental Championship match. The Miz versus Apollo Crews. Miz is a very good heel. I do think he's a good heel champion. Apollo Crews, I think it is a bit early for him to have the title. Well, to have a title. I do think the Miz should win, and I do think there should be a fatal four-way between Miz, Crews, Corbin, and Kalisto at Backlash. And I do think maybe Corbin or Miz should go over. I do think we should have a face champion as the WWE champion, and a heel as the Intercontinental champion. Tag team titles, I think American Alpha should get them, and if a women's title is introduced, I do think that either Carmella, Bliss, or Becky Lynch should get it. So that's it for SmackDown this week. One more bit of news: Shelton Benjamin's not returning. He has shoulder injuries. Gutted for him. Really gutted for him. I was really excited to see him. He's supposed to be an upper mid-carder when he came back, so I do feel sorry for him. Hopefully he can return someday. But that's the end of SmackDown this week. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Take care.